today's video. Today we are going to make a city building base. So as you can see, we can drag and drop buildings and place them, and we have a simple economy setup. We also have building limits, so as you can see, I can have only 3 houses. So if I try to place another one, it just does not work. But for the mills and the lumber, I can have unlimited. Alright, so this is part 1 of 2 of this episode. So yeah, let's jump into the actual scene setup. So here we are. I've got a UI element, a canvas, with the slots for each building. Alright, as you can see, we have a building part script which gets the scriptural object for the building, as well as the actual UI elements. And then we've also got the fluid UI, which displays the quantity as well as for the grid one. And then that's it for the actual UI. Then we've got 2 game objects, one for the economy. As you can see here, we've set up our economy, so food and food. And then we've also set up displays as well. And then we have a drag and drop manager, which is responsible for dragging and dropping each card in the actual scene. Here we reference the main camera and then set the actual layer tags for each of these buildings. And then here we've got the actual building scriptable object. As you can see, each one has their own cost, the max quantity, the prefab, and the actual name, and a small icon. So here are the prefab. Basically it's just the 3D model with a box collider, and then the layer tag building, and then this is the building item as well. And then I've gone ahead and made some thumbnails for the actual buildings. And yeah, so let's get into the scripting. So here is the building scriptable object. As you can see, we've got the basic details set up as the building name, a sprite for the icon, the max quantity, as well as the prefab and the actual price. Moving on to the actual drag and drop manager script, which references the camera, the current prefab, as well as some layer mask. And on void update, we only check if we actually clicked. So if the mouse button is down, we try and instantiate a building, as you can see. And then as long as we hold the actual mouse button, we just relocate the building to the hit point. And if we stop clicking the mouse, we just reset the actual current prefab, so we can no longer control it. And here is the actual can relocate building, which tells us whether or not we can actually move the building to this spot. It's just a bunch of raycast that hits to a certain position and checks whether or not there is a building or not. Here you are, you can just look at it. Now just using raycast and layer mask to see if we actually hit the building or the ground. And moving on to the next part, which is the economy manager script. And in this first part, as you can see, it's pretty self-explanatory. We have a singleton, we have 2 lists, one for the economy counter and one for the display. And then we are just updating all of the UI upon each fixed update call. Obviously we could make this more efficient, but for the sake of this tutorial, this is how we are going to do it. And then we have a boolean that tells us whether or not we can deduct the money. So for instance, let's say we don't have enough money, this will return false. And now here we have 2 methods, one for deduct and one for adding the money. These just loop through and try to find which economy we are talking about, and then try to perform the addition or subtraction. And then below we've got the economy display class, which basically contains a text and the actual economy that this text represents. Same thing for the economy counter, the value and the actual economy that it represents, as well as some methods such as can deduct, and add. And here is the actual economy. So if you wanted to add more, such as gems or gold, you could just add it here, and then the whole script will use it. which is the actual building card script. This, as you can see, we are deriving from the iPointer enter and exit handlers. And then we have a singleton to indicate what card we actually over. We'll look at this later on. And then here we just have the UI stuff and the actual building that it represents. And here are two methods, refresh, which is pretty self-explanatory. And the next part, which is the last part actually, here we have a boolean can place, which checks if we have enough money or resources and whether or not we can actually place. So let's say we only can place 3 houses. This is the line that checks if we exceeded this limit or it's actually unlimited. And then place building method, it just returns an instance of the actual prefab at the given location and rotation. And then on pointer exit, it just puts currently over as default, and on pointer enter it just references itself. So now we actually reached the end of today's video. Guys, follow this tutorial, you should be able to have a fully functional building placement system. Alright, so again, this is just the base. In next episode we are actually going to make it a little bit more fruitful, I can say. Alright, we'll add building pools, so effectively if we put multiple nails together, it produces more resources, things like that. So if you guys found this video helpful, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if not already, and also don't forget to tell me in the comments section what you want me to add or do next. And yeah, so on this note, I'll see you guys next one. Bye!